July's new moon, a very auspicious new moon in Gemini, Vedic Astrology, the sidereal zodiac. It is the return of the light. We're going to have an amazing opportunity, a window to restart. We can always restart something. We can always go at it again. But this is the wind in our sails, the wind at our back, really helping us for that successful execution of making it all the way through and really hitting that mark, that soul goal, whatever it is that we want to start again, whether that's something in your business, a project, your movement in the world, something in relationship, health, well-being, and even a new exercise or meditation practice. When we are able to really lock and load something, make it a routine or bring it to a culmination, there's an incredible satisfaction in that. And, we crave that and we deserve that and desire that. Well, this full moon is really giving us a great opportunity for that. So I'm going to break down all of the energy, what you need to know, what you need to watch out for, and how to really make the best use of this so that you are using this new start, this new energy in a way that you're very clear and directed towards what it is that will be most useful for you to restart. Hi, I'm Prema and welcome to Chart Your Path. I am so glad that you are here. This is a Vedic Astrology update, and if you are new to my channel, welcome. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Thank you. If you're returning, I'm so glad that you're here. I appreciate you liking, commenting, having a conversation with me, sharing. And if you do not know what your ascendant sign is or your moon sign for Vedic Astrology, go ahead and get the free chart calculator. The link is in the description, as well as all the links to all my services and all my free offerings like the Sacred Wealth Code quiz. This auspicious new moon on July 5th in Gemini in Vedic Astrology at 20 degrees is in the lunar mansion or the nakshatra of Punarvasu. Punarvasu is an incredibly light-filled, in fact, it means return to the light. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and we've had a lot of action in Gemini. In Gemini right now is the sun and the moon, and they are very close together. And of course, that is our great king and our great nurturer, or great queen in the Sacred Wealth Code system. Whenever the sun and moon are together, that is when we have the new moon. When they're opposite, we have the full moon. The new moon is the start of the new cycle. It doesn't always coincide with the calendar because it's a lunar cycle. The new moon is when we start the energy of that cycle. The full moon is when we hit the midpoint, and we always hold a healing circle at that time. And what do we bring into fruition? We get to balance the energy, and then we come into the next 30 days at the end of the cycle, and we start again in the next sign, in the next energy. All the energies work off of each other. Gemini is the natural third house of the zodiac, and the third house of the zodiac is about your desire to fulfill your desires and how to communicate with each other, how to get yourself across. It's our connection to the arts, to competition, its siblings, and communication in all forms, including writing and media and social media. So this is a very potent, powerful place. Venus happens to be very close here as well. So some of the restart energy we may be feeling is going to have something to do with relationship, although it can be restart in anything. But that Venus energy, our great connector, is always our planet of relationships, love, the heart. This Gemini energy, though, is very much around information. It rules our intellect. It is the communicator and the merchant. It also rules, the merchant is a big part of the Mercury energy. We want to intellectualize things. We want to figure things out when we're in Gemini. Before we move into the sign of Cancer, that is all about the heart, mind and heart together, but it's a clear intention that we need to have. And then we bring the heart and the devotion and the feeling to it, which is the frequency, the vibrational energy. And these two signs really conceptualize this in a really big way. Gemini has a very quiet, childlike quality to it of, curiosity. And it also then has a stormy energy. The curiosity is a little bit more the Mrigashira, the first nakshatra. The stormy energy, more like a child having a tantrum, would be the Ardra energy. And then we move into Punarvasu, which is the bridge between Gemini and Cancer. And that's the clarity after the storm. That's when the tears dry up and the truth drops in for us and we can see things more clearly. Then we can anchor things into our heart. So this is a very potent access here in this nakshatra between Gemini and Cancer. And let me just be clear, the new moon is in Gemini. So this is a placement where we can feel emotional, of course, as we can on any new moon, but it is really this intellectual truth type energy. We want to communicate about our ideas, but this is where our ideas become more clear. We can't really write about something until we have some clarity about it. We can't really speak about it until we have some real clarity about it. We can certainly write for process sake, and we can certainly speak for processing sake, and that is very much the communicator as well. But with this energy, it's more about that clarity piece. And we have to be able to be clear and come to the truth. And Punarvasu has this ability. It is the return of the light, it's called, this star. And with the return of the light, we then see what is true, the light, the truth that is within us. It is that clarity that comes through with truth. And Punarvasu means literally to, renew, make light again. And that's why this is such an important placement for starting something new. It tends to restore our faith and bring a lot of blessings because Jupiter, our great teacher, which is in Taurus for the year, is ruling this nakshatra in Gemini. And it also brings in great spiritual wisdom because of that. So on this new moon, we have that ability to have those epiphanies, what we've been thinking about, processing, having that clarity just drop in that has that sort of weightiness that truth has to it, that spiritual wisdom. So in this new cycle with this new moon, it is a time to reset our soul goals, as I like to say, not our goals. When we think of goals, can be super powerful, but they can be confining and restricting depending on your nature. And when we're just thinking of goals, sometimes they're not necessarily based on what it is that's right for us, our soul blueprint, our chart, our timing, and what our heart really desires. It might be a reflection of what we're seeing in the outer world in some way, and we're bouncing off of that and saying, okay, I should do that. A soul goal is when you take the time to really drop into your heart, really tune in, really ask, what is it that your heart is desiring that you restart, that you renew? I'll do a little process here at the end of our video here to be able to do that together. So this is a place of self-purification in the return of the light. And each nakshatra has a primary motivation. And Punar, the primary motivation is actually Arta. Arta is where we find wealth in the chart. It is really about acquisition. What do we need to acquire? And very much like the definition of wealth as I've come to it, and I talked about this in my July update and actually read part of my book, Your Sacred Wealth Code, wherever that is, Your Sacred Wealth Code, read part of my book that talks about this Arta placement, wealth. We need to acquire what we need to fulfill our purpose. And this has a big connection to that as well. So we want to be able to see through our programming, like I was talking about, not goals based on what somebody else is having or doing or wanting, or you're being programmed to, really what it is you truly desire from your light, from your essence. You have a unique light, you have divine gifts, you have a unique way that you're wired up. One of the main reasons I actually practice the science and art of Vedic astrology is because it gives us a roadmap to understanding ourselves. The more you understand who you are, how you work, your timing, your divine timing, the better you can drive this vehicle of experience and pay attention to what you're here for and not what somebody else is here for. It gives us the ability, Punarvasu does, is to see through the darkness. This is the star of renewal, again, doing it again, and the Shakti to start something new. Shakti, the energy, is to start something new again, to achieve things. And it is good for making changes as well. That's another way you could think of starting something new, or the redo. So what do you need to change or start new in your life, in your career, in your business? Or maybe you're moving home. Maybe you have a big decision to make or a big change to make. This is a great time to either do it or to set the intention and get the clarity about how to do it. Wonderful, wonderful full new moon for that. This is an energy of repeating, as we've talked about, and redoing, reflecting, being able to really reflect and tune in inside. When we are able to do that, we can see what's ours and what's not ours, and what isn't ours, we want to release. We want to let go of that shadow. In fact, one of the shadow sides of the communicator, which is Mercury, and which rules Gemini, is very much to overthink things, to get all caught in the weeds and the details, and then not take the action. So that's something that you'll want to watch out for in this energy. And then we also have the Saturn retrograde, which I talk about in the July update. So you'll want to watch that video if you haven't already watched that. And the Saturn retrograde will be going on from basically the beginning of July all the way through mid-November. And so that's, whenever we have these big retrogrades, we're also, redoing, rethinking, looking at where did we leave something on the side of the road? What do we need to pick up? What part of ourselves? What do we need to do differently? And we get an opportunity to do that. So that ties in with this energy in a beautiful way. So the symbolism here is very powerful because it is that archer. It is that arrow. And the arrow, we aim, but we want to know what we're aiming at. So that's why we need the clarity of what is it that we're going to restart? What are we going to redo? Or what is the change that we are going to make? And then we, as the archer does, we pull back and we recoil and we set the energy. So we don't always just set the aim. We've got to do that. But where's the power behind that aim? What's the intentions behind that aim? Are we really locked and loaded on our target? Have we let go of anything that's holding us back? This is where we need to do our clearing work, where we need to do our shadow work. And are we so clear, and are we taking our time to really hone in, as an archer does with that recoil, and then prepare and then let go? That preparation that we need to do on ourselves, or whatever the resources we need in order to hit that goal, is a huge part of the work. So that's where we take that pause, we take that breath, and not just haphazardly, shoot. That's a lot of times why we're not hitting our goal, because we're not aiming at our goal. We're aiming at somebody else's goal. So it's really important for you to tune in and make sure that's a soul goal. And that's why I'm going to do the tune in process with you. This is really a springboard for your gifts. Where have you been hiding your gifts, your divine gifts? And your Sacred Wealth Code tells you all about your divine gifts. If you already have your Sacred Wealth Code, fabulous. Go back and revisit it. What are your archetypes? What is the shadow side? Where are your gifts? Where are you using them? Where are you not? If you don't have your Sacred Wealth Code, the link to my Sacred Wealth Code readings are in the description below. And also you can just take the Sacred Wealth Code quiz and start there and get one of your archetypes. We always have a second attempt, not just on this new moon, but we always have an opportunity. Again, this is a time when the wind is at our back. The deity that rules this is Aditi, the earth goddess, the divine mother. In fact, this is the divine mother of all gods and goddesses, of the sun and the sun gods themselves. It's the mother of the 12. The Aditis they rule all the different ways that we manifest, and it's all about renewal, rebirth after death, and being able to restore something that maybe we thought we lost or we'd never be able to connect with or achieve. So that she's the mother of all existence, and she exists everywhere. So this again is another energy that comes in with this really powerful star that really helps us to not only plant the seeds of our intentions, but tend to them and bring them fully into fruition. So this is a wonderful time, again, for you to make life changes, to allow the truth to come in. So in order to allow that truth to come into what your soul goal is, I'm going to do a little process with you right here. Okay? So I want to invite you to take a moment. If you're driving, please don't close your eyes. If you are able to, you can close your eyes so you can tune in. You can just put your hand on your heart, take a couple of deep breaths. Whenever we put our hand on our heart, it just helps us make that connection with our heart center, with our center of creation. Clear intention, that's the mind. We're going to marry the mind with the heart. And I use this process in one way or another in all the work that I do with anyone, whether it's a reading or whether in your My Soul Blueprint program, or whether you're in any of my courses or any of my programs or my meditations or my healing circles. You're familiar with this then. I do this all the time. So, because this is where truth is. So take a deep breath, and we're just going to bring the mind and the heart together. So take a couple of breaths, breathing in and out through your heart. We're going to invite the mind to slide all the way down into that heart, just like it's riding a slide all the way between the head and the heart and sliding all the way down into the very center of your heart. And take a deep breath and allow yourself to land. We're going to do a few tuning in questions, and you just trust what comes up. If you need to write it down, that's fine. You might want to pause and write that down, or just make a mental note of it, and then you can write it down afterwards. So tuning into your heart. And we don't have to worry about your head. Your head is in your heart now, okay? So if you really tell yourself the truth, what would be most useful? What would be in your best interest to restart, to go at again with this new moon? So just tune into what is that for you, that your heart's just really wanting you to restart, to do again. Again, it could be in your business, your spirituality, your health, your well-being, relationships with Venus. That could really be up right now. Business. And whatever that is, just make a mental or a physical note of that. And really manifesting this, really creating this, really going for it and bringing it into fruition. What is that going to make possible for you in your life? What is that really going to make possible for you? So tune into that. Trust what comes up first. The answers tend to float up. If you're going up and pulling them down from your mind, it'll feel like you're thinking. It's just float up. And you might have an inner language that's more in the realm of imagination, symbols, imagery, just a sense, a feeling. Trust your inner language. And tuning in also, if there is anything that's blocking me, stopping me, sort of the shadow to really moving forward with this, what might that be? Tune into that. And if there's nothing, great. If there is, great. Now you know. What is that shadow piece? Take a deep full breath. And we'll do one more prompt here that's really useful. And that is, what's one inspired action that I could take that would support me in the next steps of moving forward on this soul goal, on this new intention of mine? And whatever that might be, just make a note of that. You may want to journal about what's come up for you. If you didn't have something come up right away, you can go back and listen to those prompts and you can journal about them. You could sit with them more than one time, but it's always the first thing that really pops up for you. If you have a shadow piece that's arisen for you, you're going to need to clear that energy. That's where you're going to want to do a process and release that shadow energy. I do a lot of that in my work. If you're not aware of what that is for you, then you can simply offer that up. Just say, I'm done with this. And in your meditation, and just offer that up to the divine. Light in your load. This is a powerful time to be incredibly grateful. If you're already working on something and that you just haven't been able to hit the mark with it, just take a step back and as if you're starting it new. Use this process for that. And then take the next steps. Great time to, again, sit in and tune in for clarity on anything else you may want to restart that didn't come up in our little process here. And just watch out for overthinking. Just really watch out for that piece, because that, and trying to make a decision, just let the truth and the clarity drop in. You've got, a day or so on either side of the new moon to really capitalize on this energy. And so I'd love to hear from you, what came up for you? Any questions? What are you restarting? Did you have anything come up in the process here, or any feedback at all? Love to hear from you. If you want some more personalized time with me, check the links below. All my readings, all my courses, and all my programs are there to help you with really bringing out your divine gifts, moving past your shadow so you can be who you are and really do what you love, and then have the kind of wealthy life that you're wired up for, not what you're programmed for or somebody else wants for you, but you're wired for. All right, so much love to you. If you haven't watched the July update, really go into all the Saturn retrograde energy and all the energies of the month there. And of course, I'll bring a full moon update, and I'll have a full moon healing circle on July 21st. All right, so much love to you.